You know that moment when you're cleaning your room and you pick up something you once really wanted? Something you maybe saved money for, waited weeks for, maybe even imagined how happy it would make you, and now it just sits there, quiet, meaningless, almost heavy. And then comes that strange thought, why do I even have this? It's a weird feeling, isn't it? Because nothing about the object changed. It's still the same thing, same shape, same function, same value on paper, but something inside you shifted, something invisible, and suddenly what once felt important feels unnecessary. So what actually happened there? Why do people, perfectly normal, rational people, suddenly feel the urge to abandon possessions, to declutter their lives, give things away, sell them, or sometimes just throw them out like they never mattered? Most people assume it's about being organized or minimalist. Maybe they watched a few videos, read a few quotes, and decided to clean up. But that's just the surface, because underneath it, there's a much deeper psychological shift happening. Let me show you. Imagine two versions of you. The first version is excited. This version sees objects as possibilities. That new phone? It's not just a phone. It's a better life, better photos, better status, better connection. That new jacket? It's confidence. That book? It's a smarter future. Objects in this mindset aren't just things, they're emotional promises. Your brain, specifically the reward system, lights up not because of the object itself, but because of what it represents. Dopamine isn't about having, it's about anticipating, about imagining who you could become. So you collect, you gather, you hold on, because every item feels like a piece of your potential. But then something changes. The second version of you starts to emerge, and this version sees things very differently. This version has experienced enough to realize something uncomfortable. The phone didn't change your life. The jacket didn't change how people see you. The book is still unread. And slowly, your brain starts updating its model of reality. This is where the mental shift begins. Psychologists sometimes refer to this as a recalibration of reward prediction. Your brain learns that the emotional payoff it expected didn't fully arrive. And when that happens repeatedly, something fascinating occurs. The illusion breaks. You stop seeing objects as potential happiness and start seeing them as just objects. And that's when the weight kicks in. Not physical weight, but mental weight. Every possession starts to carry a quiet question. Why are you still here? And here's the part people don't talk about enough. It's not just about the things, it's about identity. Because when you abandon possessions, you're not just letting go of objects, you're letting go of versions of yourself. That expensive fitness gear? That was the version of you who thought you'd become disciplined overnight. Those books? The version of you who believed you'd suddenly become deeply intellectual. Those clothes? The version of you who imagined a different lifestyle, a different confidence. So when you look at them now, you're not just seeing items, you're seeing old expectations, old attempts, sometimes even quiet disappointments. And your brain, in a very subtle way, wants resolution. It wants clarity. So it starts pushing you toward a decision. Keep carrying these symbols of who you thought you'd be, or let them go and accept who you are now. That's why decluttering often feels emotional. Not because of the objects, but because of the stories attached to them. You're not just cleaning your room, you're editing your identity. And this is where things get even more interesting. Because there's another layer to this shift. One that's almost philosophical. At some point, people start realizing that ownership itself is strange. Think about it. You spend your time, your energy, your life earning money. Then you exchange that money for objects. And then you spend more time managing those objects, cleaning them, organizing them, worrying about them, protecting them. It's like the things you own slowly begin to own parts of you, your attention, your space, your mental energy. And once your brain sees this clearly, even for a moment, something clicks. You start craving lightness. Not just physical space, but psychological space. You want fewer things to think about, fewer things to maintain, fewer silent obligations. And that's when abandonment of possessions stops feeling like loss and starts feeling like relief. Have you ever noticed how good it feels after cleaning your space? There's this strange calm, almost like your mind is breathing better. That's not just aesthetic satisfaction. There's actual cognitive science behind it. Clutter competes for your attention. Every visible item is like a tiny signal pulling at your focus. And when those signals reduce, your brain experiences less cognitive load. In simple terms, fewer things outside means less noise inside. and your brain loves that. But here's where it gets a little deeper, because not everyone reaches this shift at the same time. Some people stay in that first version, the accumulation mindset, for most of their lives, always chasing the next upgrade, the next purchase, the next promise of happiness. And that's not because they're shallow or materialistic. It's because their brain is still wired to believe that the next thing will finally deliver what the previous ones didn't. Hope keeps the loop alive, but others break out of it. Usually not all at once. It's gradual, subtle. A few disappointments here, a few realizations there, until one day they look around and think, I don't need most of this. And that thought isn't sad, it's freeing, because it shifts the source of meaning. Instead of looking outward, toward objects, you start looking inward, toward experiences, relationships, skills, moments, things that can't be owned but can be lived. And interestingly, research in psychology consistently shows that experiences tend to bring more lasting happiness than material possessions, not because they're inherently better, but because they become part of your story, not just something you store. A trip becomes a memory, a conversation becomes a connection, a skill becomes a part of you, but an object? It eventually becomes background, invisible, or worse, a reminder of something that didn't quite happen. So your brain adapts. It starts prioritizing differently, and that's the mental shift. It's not about minimalism as a trend. It's not about aesthetics or discipline. It's about perception, seeing clearly, seeing that the emotional weight of things often outweighs their actual value, seeing that you don't need to hold on to everything to feel complete, and maybe most importantly, seeing that letting go doesn't mean losing. Sometimes it means finally moving forward. Now, here's something I want you to think about. Look around your space right now. Pick one item, just one, and ask yourself, not what it is, but what it represents. Is it who you are today, or who you thought you'd be? Is it serving your life, or silently asking for your attention? There's no right answer here, because this isn't about throwing everything away and living with nothing. It's about awareness, about understanding why you keep what you keep, and why sometimes you feel the urge to let it go. Because that urge, it's not random. It's your mind trying to simplify your world, trying to align your outer environment with your inner reality. And when those two finally match, something powerful happens. You feel lighter, clearer, more present, not because you have less, but because what you have actually matters. So maybe the next time you feel that strange desire to clean, to declutter, to get rid of things, don't ignore it. Don't rush it either. Just listen to it. Because it might not be about your room at all. It might be about your mind evolving. And if this made you pause for a second, or see your surroundings a little differently, I'd love to hear what's one thing you've let go of recently and what it actually meant to you. Sometimes the smallest object carries the biggest story.